breaking news. It actually just happened that we're finding out about. And this is being reported exclusively from The Wrap. And this is actually a big, big bombshell. Again, did not prepare for this at all. But we are hearing and seeing right now that The Wrap is reporting that Chris Evans is slated to return to the MCU and is going to be a part of Avengers Doomsday, which is obviously the highly anticipated sequel that we know will be starring Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. The Wrap is saying this, quote, Evans will be involved in some capacity, but the extent and exact nature of his role is unknown. They continue on and say, after sunsetting his Steve Rogers character in 2019's Avengers Endgame, Evans recently made a brief MCU return in this summer's Deadpool and Wolverine, but as his character Johnny Storm from Fox's Fantastic Four movies, not as Captain America. The Russo brothers, who directed both Evans and Downey Jr. in Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame, are returning to direct Avengers Doomsday and its direct sequel, Avengers Secret Wars. And also, immediately after that, Deadline has reported that Anthony Mackie is slated to appear in Avengers Doomsday. He will be returning, of course, as his character, Sam Wilson, which we're about to see him get his own solo film in Captain America Brave New World in a few short months. That's not as much of a surprise. I think we kind of all assumed, probably the new Steve Rogers, the new Captain America would be involved in some capacity. But Chris Evans, big surprise. This was not something necessarily anticipated. It had been rumored, of course. It had been talked about and, I think wished upon by a lot of people. But The Wrap is saying that this is happening. This is a surefire bet. He's likely to return as sure as we're seeing Robert Downey Jr. return. Marvel's not confirmed this, obviously, so we still, I guess, have to take it with somewhat of a grain of salt, but they feel pretty confident to publish this. Immediate reactions to seeing this news, especially not knowing exactly what his role and what his involvement is going to look like in Avengers Doomsday.
Man, they can't stay away, dude. They can't stay away. And my also recent reaction is we were just talking about how Chris Evans has been struggling. Like Red One was not it. Some of these past movies have not been it. What else are you going to do but go right on back to one of the things that made you a star in the MCU? I think it makes a ton of sense for him in terms of a power play to get him back on the big screen and get people, I think, interested in what Chris Evans can bring to the movie again and how else to make. If this is true, again, I just don't see The Wrap or Deadline reporting this. If it isn't, how else to get butts in seats for Doomsday beyond bringing back both Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans? You can't. I don't think you can get any better than that. I think that they and we already know all the other players are going to be in it. Like you said, Anthony Mackie, Tom Holland's probably going to be in it. It's just making it another huge event at the movies. And I think, I think they're trying to get butts in seats. And I think Chris Evans is going to help them get even more butts in seats.
Do you hear that noise? Do you hear? I hear money. I hear lots of money being made. I hear money going through the currency machine and dollar bills printing. Just wow. The fact that we're hearing about this right now, after a couple of weeks ago talking about Red One, and at the end of that review, when we were talking about Chris Evans' career, I said, this movie is so shit that it's likely to get us closer to him returning to the MCU. And by God, just a few short weeks later, here we are. Chris Evans is going back home. He's going back to Marvel Studios, and he will be in Avengers Doomsday. Wow. This is crazy. But it had long been speculated. I mean, I made no bones about it. I said we will see these people back. We will see Robert Downey Jr. come back. We will see Chris Evans. Like, who are we fooling? Like, they want $2 billion plus from this movie. How else do you do it? You got to get back those people that folks want to see. The question remains, who does he come back as? Does he pop back up as Captain America? Is it Steve Rogers? Do they do something interesting and do what they've already done with Robert Downey Jr. and change the character? What do you think about that possibility floating? Because they're not confirming that it's Steve Rogers, Captain America here, and we technically have a new Cap. Do you think that there's a possibility that exists that Chris Evans might be playing somebody else entirely, not a Johnny Storm, not a Steve Rogers, maybe a villain that might play a role in this film that comes out?
I would absolutely love if they decided to make Chris Evans a villain, because it just, I don't know, it would add so many complexities to the MCU at that point of being like, two of your biggest stars, they're villains now. What are you going to do about it? I like that change in mentality of, let's just do something different. What if Chris Evans is Galactus? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's It's something. You know, you could do.
He's not gonna be
It's
Galactus.
something.
No.
Yeah, just something ridiculous. I just threw something ridiculous out because I thought Doctor Doom was ridiculous at first too. But yeah, man. No, who knows what it's gonna be? But I just hope it is something different. I hope it's not Captain America. I hope it's not Johnny Storm. I really do hope it's something we'll be like, whoa, I did not see that coming. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I want it to be Cap. I don't want him to do anything different.
Yeah.
Just because, like, Robert Downey Jr. That's different because I mean, no disrespect to Chris Evans, Downey has more range. I'm more interested in the performances that Downey can give off, and like the idea of him being bad. I'm on board with that. I've always been on board with that, especially when they announced it. Chris Evans, that man is so Steve Rogers to me. He so much embodies that. And Robert Downey Jr., of course, embodies Tony Stark, as we've already said, but I think, again, the idea that we're going to see Robert Downey Jr. step in the role of Dr. Doom. We've already talked about the possibilities of him coming into contact with all of these characters that he's known in the past. Like, what's that moment going to be like when Tom Holland Spider-Man sees him for the first time and he's like, Mr. Stark? And he's like, no, I'm not your Mr. Stark. And like he proceeds to whoop ass on Spider-Man. What could that look like if we see Steve Rogers, portrayed by Chris Evans, see Robert Downey Jr. on screen? He might think, that it's Tony Stark, but it's Dr. Doom. Like how do they deal with that stuff? Like I'm very, very interested about that. They've already taken the big swing with Dr. Doom and Robert Downey Jr. Like that's the crazy thing, the almost stunt casting that they're doing. I don't think they need to do that again. And you don't need another villain. Like you don't want to take any shine away from Dr. Doom. Like
that's true.
He's enough.
That's true.
So I'm good with him being Cap. What I don't know how they'll address is the two Caps. But this is multiverse. It is like multiverse saga and Secret Wars, and so it's probably not even that big of a deal. There's probably going to be 3 Spider-Men and 4 Captain Americas and 25 Thors. Like it probably won't even matter at that point because there's going to be different actors portraying all these different characters numerous times over.
What if he's just old Cap?
Just an old man Cap.
He's just the same old man Cap. Like they had to go talk to him real quick. We're doing all this, and he's just like, I don't think I will. And that's it. That's like, we're like, dang, okay.
Can you help us fight? No, I don't think I will.
I don't think I will.
I'm throwing fucking tomatoes at the screen if that's what happens. I'll tell you, if that's what they do with him, I'm gonna riot. No, we put that man in the suit, give him the goddamn shield, bring Mjolnir back, like suit up, mount up, Cap, mount up, Steve Rogers. Like we need you back. But that is a possibility. This could be way overblown. Like this might not be anything significant. But I don't think that's gonna be the case. I think he's obviously just a pillar of all of this, and we've speculated again that, not only will it have all these new characters and these new franchises that they've introduced, but they're going to bring everybody back. And
very comic book.
I wonder, right? Exactly. I wonder if ScarJo's next. I wonder if we'll probably get her name really soon here in the future as Black Widow, that they somehow bring her back. And then of course Mark Ruffalo. I mean, look, that is just what it is. Like, none of us should be surprised, but I guess now the hype train really, really begins in earnest as they start to gear up for this movie, which is likely going to go into production next year since it's coming out in 2026. Yep. But as we continue to hear more about this movie, we certainly will be back to talk about it.